What's up, everybody? This is Jasper at Get Paid for Your Pet, and in this video I'm gonna go through some Airbnb listings and point out what the host is doing well and what can be improved to get more bookings on Airbnb. So we're starting with a listing in Cork in Ireland. And so this listing is called Premium City Centre Music and Pubs Ace Location. Pretty cool title. First thing that I always do is I try to find the listing in the search results. In this case, it wasn't that hard to find because the listing actually shows up on the first page. Here it's the listing with the pink bed. And the first thing that I look at is, does this image stand out in the search results? Well, it does stand out because of the purple. When you scroll through these listings, you'll see that it's the only one that has the color purple, which is good. What also stands out is the extra text that the host has added on the picture, which I'll get into a little bit later, which I think is really good. What's not so good is you see the gray bands around the image. It's a vertical image, but the search snippet is horizontal. And so I always recommend using a horizontal image for the featured image that shows up in the search results. All right, so let's quickly scroll through these pictures. This is pretty much what users would do. You can see here again, there's a picture that doesn't really show much, and there's two horizontal gray bands as well. This picture is not that great either. And so I can already tell that this host can definitely make a lot of improvements by adding better pictures to the listing. But let's take a look at the actual listing. And so here you can see that again, because the photo is vertical, it's not being displayed really well on the front page. When you click on it, you see that it's actually a picture of a bed, but you can't see that because it cuts off half of the picture. Now, what is good is the text that's being added. So I really like that because you really want to show the best aspects of your listing. You want to communicate those aspects as soon as you can. And by adding this text to this particular picture, the host is quickly communicating that there's free Wi-Fi, that there's Netflix, and that there's a window with a rooftop view, which is also good. The size of the bed, I really like those details. People are much more likely to read this text than to read, for example, the caption or the description. So really good job on that, but really you got to replace that first image. And as we go through the photo gallery, there's a lot of vertical photos. And so I think this host can definitely really improve their listing by adding better pictures. A lot of them are vertical, and there's not a lot of pictures of the actual house. It's not ordered in a very logical way. It's kind of all over the place. And so I wrote a blog post actually on how to compile a great photo gallery, and I'll share that just below the video. So you can click on it and then you can learn exactly how you should compile your photo gallery, which photos to put first, and also how to take great pictures. So having a quick look at the profile, this profile picture does look a little bit vague, and so I want to recommend to Sharon that he uploads a picture that's a little bit sharper. Also, you might want to write a little bit more about yourself on the profile page so that potential guests will have a chance to get to know you more. Another thing that I noticed is that 100% of recent guests gave the location a 5-star rating. And so people love the location. And so that's something that you want to emphasize in your listing as well. So you might want to include it in the title, which the host actually has done. So that's a good job on that. You might also want to include that in maybe on the first picture where you've added the text. Now, taking a look at the description, one thing I noticed is that there's a lot of information here. It'd be easier to read it if you put some spaces in there and maybe create a bullet list. That way it's easier to consume that information. Now going down, we see that the host has 4 5-star reviews, what it looks like. And there's a response from the host for every review that's been left, which is really good as well. Response rate looks good, 100%. Response time within an hour. And so I think the rest of the listing looks pretty good. Now I'm going to take a look at the pricing. So it's priced at $73. But if I change the date, let's see what happens then. So that's 73 as well. So I'm trying to figure out that the host is using the same pricing for every single day, which it seems to be the case. And so what I would recommend is vary your pricing according to demand. So probably in Cork, you're in the city center. It's probably a touristic destination. So I would say weekends, probably you want to price them a little bit higher. And also you want to look at, when is the high season? I imagine that's probably the summer. And so, if I go to July, I would want to see prices a little bit higher. So 76 instead of 73. That's not a big difference. So I definitely think there's more profit to be made if you adjust the pricing more according to demand. All right, let's take a look at the second listing for today. Host Louise in Papamoa. And this must be in Australia somewhere. I have no idea where it is. But again, I'm going to try and find the listing on the search results. So I'm going to go Papamoa. And when you do this, guys, don't put any dates, because then the listing might not show up because the dates are unavailable. So I'm just quickly going to scroll through to see if I can find this listing in the first couple pages. If not, I'm going to zoom in on the map. So I can't see it on the first couple pages, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I know on the map where this listing is located, so that makes it a bit easier for me to find it. And there we go. After I zoomed in, I can now see the listing. Spacious 4-bed house close to central Papamoa. And this is on the second page out of 3 pages. So a bit of an average result in terms of ranking. And so let's look at these snippets. Does the snippet stand out? It does a little bit, but not that much. You see the grass, the green, that has a lot of other snippets have that as well. The blue sky obviously is in a lot of snippets. And so it's not a bad snippet, but at the same time it also really doesn't stand out that much. So there's room for improvement. Let's click on the listing, and the first thing I notice is that there's a duplicate picture, right? Picture number 1 is the same as picture number 4, right? And so that is obviously, that can be improved, because again, you want to show as much information as possible on the front page. You want to really, you're in a race to attract the attention of the viewer. And the longer the viewer spends on your listing, the better the chance that you get booked. And so you want to give the viewer as many reasons, should I say, as possible to stick around. And by having a picture that's essentially the same, that doesn't really help. Also, the other pictures, I think this one and this one, these pictures are pretty good. This picture is not that great. It looks a little blurry, and also it's kind of cut off. You see half a table and half a tree. It's not very appealing. But let's go into the rest of the pictures. The first thing I notice as well is that there's no captions, and so you might want to write some captions and add them to your images. I think this is the picture that wasn't displayed really well on the front page. Again, that's because it's a virtual picture. You should always use horizontal pictures. Now there's another picture of the garden. A lot of pictures of the outside. This is a really good picture that I would certainly put in in the collage, in the front collage. You put it within the first 5 pictures, or this one as well. People want to know what the bedroom looks like. People want to know that they're going to be sleeping in a comfortable bed. And to me, this looks like a comfortable bed. So this would be a plus. And so you want to show that earlier in the listing. This bed looks a little bit less comfortable, so you don't want to put that one on the front. This one looks pretty good too, but again, it's a vertical image. So you want to take a horizontal one. This picture is vertical as well. So I think there's definitely some room for improvement when it comes to the photo gallery. And the photo gallery, guys, is one of the most important things. That's really where you get the most improvement on your Airbnb listing. And so again, look below in the description. There's a link to my photo guide, which explains you exactly how you want to take the photos, what photos to put first, and that will really help your conversion rate. Now let's go down and look at some other parts of the listing. So it looks like Louise has 8 awesome reviews, 5 stars. She responds to all the reviews, which is really good. And her response rate is great. The response time is also great. So this is all looking pretty good. Now let's just quickly take a look at her pricing. So she's almost fully booked for April already, which tells me that her pricing might be a little bit low. And we look at May. May is pretty open. And June is as well. She's got 2 weeks booked in July. So that tells me that she might be able to raise the price a little bit just because she's already booked almost fully for the month of April. Let's look at some prices. I'm just going to select some dates. So here we're looking at $190 a night. And then if I change the dates to June, somewhere in June, it's the same price. So again, I am assuming that she is pricing her listing at one price band and she doesn't vary the prices over demand, and that's something that you really want to do. What else? Another thing you can do is you can sign up for Beyond Pricing, which is an automated pricing app that will allow you to get optimal prices and increase your profit without having to do anything, because the app will go into your Airbnb listing and adjust the prices automatically based on data that Beyond Pricing gathers and prices that your competition is using and lots of other data factors. So I really recommend, if you look in the description, you see a link to Beyond Pricing. I highly recommend it. It saves you time and it also helps your listing improve in the search results. But because by updating the calendar every day with new prices, you signal to Airbnb that you're being very active, that you're an active host, that your calendar is updated, and Airbnb likes updated calendars. So that's my feedback for this listing. Hope you enjoyed this video. And if you want me to take a look at your listing, feel free to send me an email at jasper@getpaidforyourpad.com. Check out my website, getpaidforyourpad.com. Sign up for my email list. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment on this YouTube video as well. I'll respond to every single questions. So thanks for watching, guys. Happy hosting and see you next time.